test driving everything and anything with two wheels to help you find your next bike. I'm Sean Kerr, and this is Srkcycles. What's up, guys? I'm Sean from Srkcycles, and standing right next to me is a 2011 Ducati Diavel. This is the baddest bikes to ever claim the name with cruiser inside of it. When Ducati jumped into the scene, it was completely foreign to them, and they wanted to build the baddest cruiser bike that has the soul of a sport bike, and that's absolutely what they did. There's not a cruiser bike out there that can even come close to this. This thing is so quick that, in fact, that this is going to beat most leader bikes up until about 80 miles an hour. On the highway, it pulls like a monster. Let's just get into a little more of the specifics of it. This shares the exact same engine, slightly tuned a little differently as the Multistrada. It's a 1198 cubic inch V-twin. It's got throttle by wire. It's got traction control. It needs to have traction control for all that power. It's put about 160 horsepower and about 98 foot-pounds of torque. It's rocking a 240 inch back tire, and it honestly needs it. It's so much torque and so much power that without the traction, you take the traction control off, it'll just spin that back tire like nothing. Dry weight of this bike is 463 pounds. That means wet weight is still probably less than 500 pounds. That's insane for a bike with this much torque. Let's just go look at some of the little quirky things about this bike. This is actually really awesome. I've never seen a bike that hid the passenger pegs. Because passenger pegs are ugly, and a lot of times you take them off. Look at that. Passenger pegs are completely hid, but always available. The Ducati Diavel is rocking a proximity key, so you have to have this thing in your pocket to start the bike. If it's not in your pocket, or if the battery is dead, it's not going to start the bike. It's actually going to ask you for a pin. Now this button down here, the on-off button, you don't actually need to use it. You can just use it up here. I don't know why it's almost impossible to press. You got to really stick your nail in there. And it does have multiple modes. It's got touring mode and sport mode. You can change the traction control settings. It's very cool, very teched out. When you're starting this bike, and same thing with the Multistrada, it cranks very slowly, kind of like the big 1900 Yamaha. It feels like your battery's getting low, and it just cranks just very slowly. That's just how they are. I'm not sure why that's how they are, but that is just how they are, and it is very normal for the bike. So very un-Ducati. And Ducati has since changed their ways, and they've gone to a wet clutch. This bike also rocks a wet slipper clutch, which it doesn't sound at all, actually. It doesn't make any noise, which is awesome. I can't stand the way those Ducati dry clutches sound with their open clutch cases. It sounds like teeth rattling. Everyone else thinks your bike is broken. Another unique thing about it, you would think the battery would be under the seat or under the tank or somewhere up here. They actually mount the battery down here in this bottom lower. So let's fire it up and see what this thing sounds like. All right, so to turn this bike on, you want to flip the switch down and then hold it down. And that turns the bike on. Then you flip the switch up, hold the clutch. See what I mean? How it kind of cranks a little slow and then fire it up. This thing has a very good battery. You have that somewhat crude feel of a V-twin, but it just makes insane horsepower. This thing pulls hardcore. Let's take it for a test drive. All right, guys, before we start, let's do the words of wisdom. 1 Thessalonians 5:15, see that no one repays another with evil for evil, but always seek after that which is good for one another and for all people. Amen. All right, so I got the proximity key in my pocket. Push that thing down. Let it cycle on. Push that up. There we go. Now you'll notice for a cruiser bike, the controls are very mid. They're very sport. Oh no, I forgot my gloves. Alright, hold up. Whoa! M1 Moto gloves! It's magic! Just like my marriage. All the time, magic. Alright, guys. So, the Diavel. The bike with the biggest back tire that actually handles really, really well. Not sure how Ducati did it, but they did it. All right, so I got a story about this bike. not this specific one. We had one about a year ago. And my buddy Jared came down to visit me, and I'm like, yo, let's go for a ride. I gave him the keys to that Diavel, and I was riding my CBR 1000, my 08 CBR 1000, very fast bike, blast to drive, super nimble, just a very fast bike. And it blew my mind away that up until like 80 or 90 miles an hour, now this is on a closed course of course, but up to 80 or 90 miles an hour, he would smoke me on this Diavel. Now a lot of times when I'm riding with some other people, it's normally like whatever bike, and I'm not trying to be like boastful, but whatever bike I'm riding is the faster bike. I was riding the other bike, and Jared's a great rider, so, but he was smoking me on this bike because this bike has so much torque at the low end. This thing just pulls like a monster, pulls your arms off. It's a blast to drive. Now, of course, Ducatis are higher maintenance. They are more expensive to maintain. But if you want the baddest, fastest cruiser bike out there, that's just what you got to deal with. Now, what do we have it on? It's on touring mode. It's a very comfortable bike. I'm 6'2". There's nothing in the way that would, you know, sometimes you have a bike where like the fairing is right here, it's right on my knee, and I'm like, wow, if you were any taller than this, you might just be hitting your knee up against a thing. There's plenty of space. I'm nowhere close to the handlebars. Instant power, instant smiles wherever you're at. And I've seen Multistradas, and I've seen other Diavels, you know, with 50, 60,000 miles on it. It's not that these things can't go the distance. They absolutely can. You can run these things for a long time. They are high quality bikes. It's just that they're just a little high strung, and they're a little, you know, maintenance intensive. Not as much as they used to be though. Yeah! Got up to speed limit. This bike will get you up to the speed limit so fast. Just any gear you're in, you get that brute force rumble of the V-twin, and it reminds you why you're an American driving in a very Italian motorcycle. The craziest thing is, these things are not that expensive. I forget what we're selling ours for, but look, but check them out on the website. It's actually not that expensive. I think it's less than 10 for sure. It really is one of those bikes that if you're looking for that 12th bike, that 7th bike, you know, you're trying to feel that, you know, fit that niche, or you're like, nothing else, no other bike that you have, it's got a cool gear indicator right there, that no other bike that you have fits. And it really is the perfect, I mean, the bike doesn't look like it, but it really, the way it sits, it really is a sport touring bike. And it kind of also, the ergonomics sit very similar to to like an FJR, but it's definitely a lot smaller than the FJR, a lot lighter, a lot more compact. Amazing machine. But here's the big question. Can we get past that oversized load? Can we? Can we? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. The Ducati Diavel can pass oversized loads. If that's what you were wondering, it can do it. And maintain the speed limit. Alright guys, that wraps up the video. Do not forget to check out the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. This bike is currently for sale at Srkcycles.com. By the time you watch it, it might not be for sale, it might be sold. Also, check out the M1 Moto gloves. One of the only gloves lined with Kevlar. Kevlar, we spared no expense when getting these designed and manufactured. Kevlar! Click on the link below to buy them. See you guys later.